Hi, I'm Blisy.
Yo, what's up everyone? Today's going to be a quick video on how to do wild RNG in Fire Red and Leaf Green. This video expects a few things. I expect you kind of know how the RNG works in this game by this point. And if you don't, I suggest watching my video on Mewtwo and my video on how to calibrate your most common seeds that you hit in this game. And hopefully I'll be able to put out like a slightly more advanced video later this week as well about how to RNG in this game. But it expects you know how to. It expects basically that you know in general how it works, and which are your most common seeds. Okay, so I'm not going to be explaining the seed finding process or the seed calibrating process, if you will. Oh, also my lag is like. Okay, so in game you're going to need a few things. You're going to need some rare candies, probably, just to if you want to figure out what seed you're hitting. It's nice to be able to level up the Pokemon a few levels to figure out what your seeds are. You don't technically need these, especially if you're very consistent with a specific seed, but I recommend having them. You're going to need Pokeballs to catch them on, obviously, and I would suggest having the Master Ball on deck in case it's the Mon you don't want, because like what I like to do personally is use the Master Ball for the Mons that I fail, because it's a quick catch for them, and then use the Ultra Balls for the real Mon. You're also going to need to be saved in an area with grass, or like me, if you're doing Safari Zone RNG, you save in front of the Safari Zone before you can walk in. But you can just save in a patch of grass if you're not doing Safari Zone RNG, right? You're also going to need a few Pokemon. You're going to need one with Sweet Scent is the main dealio, so you can actually do the RNG. So save in your spot, and I would turn off your game. Now, if you're using a DS, boot to the DS title screen or main menu or whatever. If you're using a GBA, just keep it off for now. Okay, so in EonTimer, your calibration, it's gonna be anywhere between 1700 and like 1775. I would start with 1770. I don't know what 74, but. I'm going to start with 1725, kind of right down in the middle. And, you know, this calibration would happen for you. This happened independently to both me and Papa Jeffe from my Discord. It has to do with the seed being generated a few frames after you hit A on the title screen. So this calibration is going to be there for pretty much every Fire Red and Leaf Green attempt in Eon Timer. Your pre-timer is going to be set to 35,000, and your target frame we'll discuss in a moment. So for for the RNG tool, you're going to need Pokefinder. You could use RNG Reporter if you want. I don't know, just use Pokefinder, guys. It's sick. Admiral Fish is a cool boy. So you're going to need to go to your profile. You're going to need your secret ID. So, you're going to need your secret ID, as I was saying. Yeah, you can find this in a number of ways, but I won't discuss it here. So, in Pokefinder, you're going to click... you don't need to use the searcher for Gen 3. I was in Gen 4 mode. So, you're going to use the generator section here to find a shiny frame. Obviously, you'll know what your typical shiny frames are for your seeds and all that jazz. So, I'm using the Safari Zone Center. Now, the methods tend to vary based on which seed you hit. It's sort of like how in Gen 3 you can sometimes hit the other method H's. Like in Ruby and Sapphire, it's common to hit H1 or H4, and some very rarely H2. In Emerald, it's mostly H2, but it can vary. So this varies based on like seed and luck, I would say. So, but here's the thing about this, right, is if I'm just looking for a shiny frame, so let's say I'm aiming for one of my more common seeds, 5229, and I click shiny only with a delay for oddish. So, for the use delay box, by the way, you're going to check that off and type 261 if you're outside, or 268 in a cave. That's just how long it takes Sweet Scent to go off. So click shiny only. Now, of course, you can use this to do whatever stats you want as well, but I'm just going for a shiny because of the clickbait. So, as you can see, these are all of my shiny frames, right? They tend to stay either the same or very similar based on the methods. The difference typically is IVs. I find that I hit I think H1 the most, but on the seed that I'll be aiming for. But you know, you're gonna have to just do whatever you can. So once you found which seed and frame you are aiming for, just type it into the frame target frame for EonTimer. 2623. Oops. Okay, so you're going to turn your game on or start the game at the same exact time as you boot. Wow. Basically, if you're on a GBA, boot the game up at the same time as you start EonTimer. If you're on a DS, hit A to start the game at the same time as EonTimer. And of course, I wanged it up immediately. That's fine. So what you do is you let the entire intro play out without touching nada. Then once you once the timer runs out, you hit A to start the game. And you go to the Oddish or walk to the area if you have to save, like I am for the Safari Zone, immediately, and figure out exactly what frame and seed you hit. So then just go as quickly as possible. So again, if you were just if you're not doing Safari Zone, you would just open up your menu and go straight to your Oddish and chill while your timer goes down. But wait on the sweet scent here, and we wait. Oh, and also for Safari Zone, as I've talked about in my Safari Zone video, I highly recommend you just kind of you have Repel turned on. I actually don't even know if I do, but I typically do. Alright. So, when the timer ends, you just hit A and let Oddish take the wheel. So, at this point, you just catch the Pokemon. Again, I'm doing Safari Zone, so it's much a bigger pain, because I'm not guaranteed to have this boy as my friend. But, luckily, I do. So now, assuming you missed your seed on the first, or you missed your frame on the first try, which is probably accurate, now you check what's up. So, what I do first is I check to see if it's on the seed that I aimed for. And you should also take notes to quicken the process. So I would open like a new notepad document, right? A new text document. And I would write down... did I open this twice? I did. So I'd write down Nidoran Quirky 54 HP. And then I will write down what seed and what frame it is, okay? So first of all, let's see if it's even on this seed. So I'm going to hit generate fully so I can see all the frames. And then I have to scroll to the actual shiny frame. I actually have to DM fish to see if I can have that thing fixed. I forgot what my frame was. Oh, 2623. Oops. So you got to find your frame first and then right click it and hit set as target frame. You can't set it as target frame when it's limited. It just won't work, I promise. So, what I would do here is I would just kind of look a few frames... Oh, actually, I was aiming for this one. Ha. So you look a few frames early and a few frames late to see if there's like a quirky frame. And if you don't see it... and then it's probably not there. So, now what you have to do is type in your other common seeds. So A2Z0 is another common seed of mine. I have about 4 common seeds, I would say. And see what's up. So, so a quirky frame right here on 2623 with method H1. So this is actually looking really good. Quirky encounter slot 1 is definitely Nidoran male, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's Nidoran male level 22. Okay, so it's not positive that this is correct, right? So this is the point where we calc its IVs, and you don't necessarily have to calc its IVs. Whoops. You don't necessarily have to calc its IVs fully. You can just use... So if you're searching like I do, you know your common seeds. You don't have to. You can do the typical method of IV to PID with exact IVs known. Then seed to time. And maybe for the first few encounters, I would recommend doing that kind of thing. You can do that if you want to. And I think I will for just the first one. So let me get a MetalKid IV calculator open. But yeah, it's important to just it's important to take these kind of notes down to be certain of which frames you're hitting. So if I hit the right frame, that's actually very good for me, because that means I don't have to do too much calibration. Oh, I always say Nidoran F, but it's Nidoran. So it's quirky. I spelled it wrong. Quirk. All right, so 22 more. Okay. Oh wait, let's do his exact stats. 54, 34, 28, 25, 27, 28. Alright, so I'll be done when I'm done calculating it, but basically I have to get to all these. So I'll show what I mean and by a few things here. So first of all, I want to make sure the IV range is possible here. So see method H1, if we look at my IVs, this does not match up even a little bit, this quirky frame here. So we can check method H2 and hit generate again. See it, again, it still super doesn't match up. We can check method H4 again, see if that lines up. So as you can see, this quirky frame is actually definitely not the one I hit. So it's good I do more thorough checking like this. Now, what we can do is instead of checking exactly which seed we hit, again, since we know our common seeds, what we can also do is type the IV ranges, so 8 to 11, you know, stuff like that, to look for it, to see if we can find a frame that we hit. But we can also just do the quick checking in the other seeds I hit. 7D5Cs is one of my other very common seeds. A quirky frame here with H4. Let's change it to H1. Oops. No, because it's 29. Yeah. And H4 was all wrong. Yeah. Alright, so again, another quirky frame here. Let's see that. So again, checking by hand like this is a little more tedious, I would say, but the nice thing about it is it can also go quicker if you're very aware of what your seeds are and like what's going on with them, because the thing is leveling up them and checking their IVs is actually like a huge pain, I would say. So I haven't found what I'm doing at all. So because I found nothing with these like manual searches, I could just type the IV ranges here, like 8 to 11, 21 to 21, etc., etc. I could do that here, but I think it's just more easy at this point to just level it up all of the way. So that is what I will do, and I'll be back when I'm done with that. So I found out what happened. I seem to have hit a seed I've never hit before on a frame way later than I actually ever hit. Now there's something that needs to be noted here. You're still, when you do the IV to PID with a wild Pokemon, you're still looking for method 1. However, you could also look for a method 2 or 4, because it could be either of those, but typically you still look for the method 1 spread, basically. But like I said, you could find a method 2 one. But typically you look for the method 1 spread, right? You copy it, and then you, oops, where's it at? Paste it in the seed to time like the usual, and it'll convert it. But the thing is, this is the frame it's at method 1, not on H1. So if we look here, like if I didn't check use delay and I looked for these spreads on this thing, it'd be close, but it wouldn't be quite what the method 1 frame is. So yeah, you have to keep that in mind, because they are slightly different methods. So this is what I hit, which is fine. I was way far off for some reason. I don't know. I am a little sick, so maybe that's what's going on with that, but that's fine. So 2626, you just hit that in. Oh, actually not that late, but my seed is completely different than usual, so I'm not that late. Hit update and it'll change my calibration for me, no problem. And all you do at this point is you do another attempt. Turn it off and you go for it again. Okay, so for the final attempt, the same thing is done. You're going to have to do the first part of this video probably several different times before you actually figure out consistently what you're hitting and all that kind of junk. Luckily, it shouldn't take too long, especially if you've already calibrated for, you know, which common initial seeds you're hitting and all that. And if you're not doing Safari Zone, it'll be a lot easier as well, because, you know, in the Safari Zone, you're not, you have to do all the walking, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult to verify what you're going for. But yeah, so you just do the same exact thing after calibrating your seed over and over and over again. Step into these wherever you're doing the Safari Zone, or just wherever you're at. Open up your Oddish and let it rip. You're just gonna have to do several calibrations until you find exactly what frame/seed you're trying to hit. It is a little bit inconsistent, but I think that's just always going to be what Fire Red and Leaf Green is like. But the upside is it lets you do some cool RNGs that you typically wouldn't be able to in Gen 3. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. This is sort of similar to the Safari Zone video, but hopefully a little bit more fleshed out. I hope you guys appreciate and enjoy this video, and I will see you guys next time for Starter RNG. Enjoy the shiny Nidorino. And I hope you get the shiny that you want as well. I just want to thank my channel members so much. You guys are amazing. Without this kind of support, I wouldn't be able to put out the videos I do, and I wouldn't be able to stream as frequently. Thanks so much. If you want to consider becoming a member, just click the join button underneath this video or at my channel page. It's only $4.99 a month. It really helps me out. I'm extremely uncomfortable doing these kinds of plugs, but I'm doing it anyway because the money helps. And if you can't or don't want to, don't feel bad. I'm just asking because, yeah. Thanks so much, guys. You're all amazing. See you next video.